Uh, okay, welcome everybody to the Referral Challenge Q&A Mastermind call for Friday, February 2nd. The local by referral is coming, almost done with that. We'll have it out within the next week. So excited about that. Otherwise, no real big updates. Aaron, anything on your side?
No, sir.
Okay, very good. Well, then let's get right into it. Chris, it's good to see you. We, as you know, talked about you last week, and I think we're able to give you some good insight that was helpful. But want to do a follow-up on that or anything else, any other questions, issues, give us an update on how things are going.
Yeah, man. So good news with your health, man. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
So follow-up, thanks for doing that while I wasn't on the call. I appreciate that. So that helped out a lot. And then shout out to Mike there for helping me out too. We got on the phone and we went through everything in depth. So thanks, Mike, for that. Appreciate it. And yeah, so I met with my team and we're just finalizing the details of what that looks like. So we'll be working on that over the next week or two. So yeah, I'm on a good path with that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So a couple things that I have today. SmartStart group number one, I feel has pretty much died out at this point in time. So I want to kind of just put some discussion on the table about that, some thoughts on just getting some engagement and getting that going again. And so that's the first thing. If we can kind of start there, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. All right. So, I think we all knew this was going to be a challenge going in, but I think the strategy, I believe, is sound. You look at what Alicia and so many others have done with groups, and I mean on the B2B and the B2C side, I think the strategy is sound. So really, what it comes down to, in my opinion, is the tactical applications. What we're doing to get people into the group and keep people engaged in the group, and then convert them. That's a big deal. But as long as the strategy's sound, we can figure out the tactics. Tactically, I think, I just had dinner with Alicia last night, and we were talking a little bit about the groups and stuff, and she was like, advertising to drive people into the group. And so I think that's what we got to look at, advertising and continuing to work the referral side. But I think advertising is probably going to be the answer. And so what we need to do collectively, I believe, is come up with some good little hooks, that we can use to drive folks into the groups. And then once in the group, are you having problems, Chris, with you said it's died out. What are you seeing? Just a total lack of interactivity inside the group?
Yeah, well, a big part of it is my lack of action in that group. So that's where it starts. I have a few hundred people in there, and so we still post every day. We still have that going on. That's all in place. I have fallen off of the weekly videos that I was doing. So I'm getting that, I'm trying to get that scheduled into the calendar, because before I was kind of trying to fit it in when I could fit it in. So I'm trying to just lock that in, a scheduled time slot dedicated every week to that video. I did a survey yesterday, and it's ongoing today from the people in the group, asking them, hey, we've been sort of offline for about a month, getting back into it. But before we do that, we'd love to hear from you and let us know what is the optimum time that we can get most of you to join in with us in an Ask the Expert live session. So we're running a survey right now, trying to identify a time slot. So once I kind of hone that in, my plan was to try to lock that into my calendar once a week at that time, so that I could begin being consistent action-wise with that. So that's really all we've been doing. We've been doing our charity workout. We've been doing our daily posts. We were doing the weekly video. We're still doing a lot of strategic alliance partner stuff. We have a chiropractor coming into play next week with us, and doing some posture stuff and things of that nature. So all of that is still going on. I'm just not getting a lot of engagement, which I know may come back to the Ask the Expert live stuff too. But people who are engaging, they're my current members who have also joined that group as well. So I'm just not getting a lot of engagement from non-members right now.
Yeah.
I think, can I put my 2 cents in for what it's worth?
Yeah.
Eric was right as far as the advertising, but when it comes to that advertising, you should be marketing, like boosting posts or whatever for content, educational stuff, more than just straight ads trying to get them in, because it's like anything else, you got to get them to know you, like you, trust you before they even want to join your group. And so I've been putting out a whole lot more of educational type posts, and it seems to be working really well, Chris.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see, where was the next point I was going? You said something I wanted to touch on. That's the first thing, and I think the biggest, and quite honestly, that's with the new Facebook algorithm, that's kind of where they're going. Facebook is prioritizing and rewarding posts that show more engagement. Okay. So, getting people to like it, to talk on it, to comment, that's going to be really important. Okay. So when you're doing these posts, you also want to ask a question to get them to respond and answer. And I also think something else that needs to be done is pretty much everywhere you're at on social media, you should be, there should be a link going to your group. I mean, your personal page, your business page, everything should be inviting, every place should be inviting them to that group.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think this should be the primary funnel. Everything should drive to this. Of course, you're going to do other things, other external marketing, things like that, for campaign related things and whatnot. But in general terms, everything should, all roads should lead to Rome, I think, with this.
To give you an idea of what I'm starting to do, like even like my page images, the big banner image, the small image, it's all going to have a link going to my group. Even the description, that's going to be a link to my group. Everywhere I can put it, every post, I'm going to, be letting people know that they can come join us in that group. Okay. I mean, you just got to keep driving it, and make sure no matter where they see you, they see something about it. I think that's the important thing right now with the way Facebook has changed things up. That and content, educational content that gets them to engage.
So let's talk about content for a second, because are we thinking that posting content directly on the Facebook page is best versus if we post that content on a blog from our website and then link them to it? Is there a difference in those?
Yeah, because if people are going on Facebook, they're going there for a reason. And Facebook doesn't like rewarding anything that takes them away from Facebook. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I would be putting that content in the group. I would be putting it on the blog as well, but I would also be putting it on my business page, and there I can boost it and get it in front of more eyes.
Yeah, good point. And so agreed exactly with what Rick just said. Put it on your business page so you can boost it, keep people that are already in Facebook just to go over to your group, so stay inside Facebook. But reusable asset, repurposing content, we always want to do that. Anytime you create a good piece of content, that can be your email newsletter, it can go on your blog, it can obviously go in your Facebook group, on your Facebook business page. You can make a video out of it. There's so many ways to leverage good content. I know
something else you can do is go into your insights on your page and go to post. It'll show you the posts that had the most engagement, and then you can right from there boost it or republish it. And so that post that got the most engagement, go and boost it and get it out to people. You can do it from right there on the insights on any page.
Yeah, but I can see where this is all going, and I think we all can. And what's going to need to happen is we need to have, because you guys, creating content can be so labor intensive if you don't have something to work with, a nugget or something done for you, ideally, I guess. but we can't provide all done for you stuff. But I think what we're going to need to do is tighten this down in terms of ideas for content that are quick and relatively easy to create, and then more of a systematic way for implementation that can also be delegated to some degree, either to automated services like Meet Edgar or to an admin or something, because I know nobody's going to do a better job of interacting with these people on the group than you are. That's for sure. But is it the best use of your time and that type of thing? So we've got to look at that and dial that in. I just don't know what the answer is right now.
Well, let me ask a couple of questions to Chris. First of all, are you a blogger? Have you been blogging in the past?
No. Blog for me would be a weekly article that is provided by Lynn Coffee, and posting that on our business page, on our website, essentially, and then repurposing that content. That's about the extent of what we've ever done.
But you can re-content or repurpose that content everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and so, Rick beat me to the punch there. That's if you can get the analytics on what's, the most read posts in your blog area, then that's excellent fodder for this very thing. But, and this is on the fly, so I have no idea if there's any validity to this strategy. Rick can probably help me out on this. But, since Facebook doesn't want you off Facebook, right? Since they definitely want you operating within their platform. If you want to play by that rule, then inside your group, you could create PDFs of these posts that have value, and then do much like any other platform. You're out there and you're boosting a teaser to get this free report inside this group, but you can't get it unless you join. It's basically its own landing squeeze page, right? So instead of
effectively makes the group the squeeze page,
right? So instead of sending them to a landing page or a ClickFunnels page to get your free report or your lead magnet, you send them to your Facebook page to get it, and they have to join to get it.
They have to join your group. Yeah, that's actually brilliant.
Yeah, that's good. The most important thing for us, and this was the vision behind the SmartStart group in the beginning, in the first place, was to differentiate it from everything else. Provide a smart start for folks who are confused, lacking confidence, don't know where to go, how to start, that kind of thing, because that is the biggest segment of the market, as I proved to you in that post that I did yesterday or day before with those numbers, just amazing numbers from that survey that's inside the group. But so that's the big segment of the market, because everybody else is fighting for the low-hanging fruit. And I'm not saying you shouldn't fight for them. You should be going after those folks for sure, because they're the people that are ready to make decisions now. They want to buy now. That's great. But it's this other segment that really is where the big money is long-term, and also where the peace of mind, frankly, in businesses, because once you get this thing working, then you've got a consistent funnel and you're not always fighting for the low-hanging fruit. But anyway, the point is we've got to figure out how to communicate that different point of differentiation, which is all built around the SmartStart thing, clearly, concisely, and in different ways that hopefully resonate with a larger chunk of folks out there and draw them in. That should be the primary thing, is here's how to get started. Not just, content's great. We want to be putting out content, but we want it to be focused, ideally, on the point of differentiation for that group, so that it's constantly driving that point. Hey, you're confused. You don't know where to start. Here's the place. Hopefully that makes sense. But short of that, Chris, right now, I think we're just going to have to come up with those hooks. We're going to have to come up with some ideas and hooks around that, and and just find ways to promote that content effectively, and then internally, the engagement part, ideally, it's convert to customer as quickly as possible, because nothing's going to get them more engaged than when they're buying, when they're spending money. And that's why, again, I think the nutrition side is the fastest way to do that, with like Pro Diets or something like that. So these are all things that we got to look at and work towards refining and improving it within the system. I just don't have any better answer than that right now.
Okay.
I wish I did, but I will now, because I'm motivated and I'm going to get back into it and get things squared away. We'll get this train back on track and going high speed forward. Wayne, you got a question?
Yeah, can you hear me okay? I'm driving.
Yeah.
Okay, I apologize. I haven't been on in a while. I missed you guys. Hearing you guys is like comfort food. It's on you guys again.
You need a new diet, dude.
As far as what you guys are talking about, the Facebook page, it should be a closed group. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, and the mechanics of it isn't there a way that you can put, like, if somebody goes to that page, like Aaron was saying, maybe they see one post that says, in order to get in this group, or if you want to get in this group, click on this PDF, and then they get in that way? Isn't there a way that, even though it's a closed group, one post can be seen?
Not yet. Soon. I mean, they're working on opening it up and testing it to where pretty soon you're going to actually be able to market to groups in Facebook and boost group posts. But that's not available yet. Once that happens, it's going to open up a whole new way of us to market our groups. But we have to be patient waiting for it, Wayne.
Okay. All right.
So I guess, Wayne, then the answer still remains that if you want to squeeze them before they go to the group, you got to do that on a separate, distinct squeeze page.
Okay.
Which would be, for example, your business page or your personal page. Make the offers there to lead them to your groups.
Okay.
Yeah. And Wayne, one other thing about this, for everybody too, this is, I think, maybe the most, well, other than the hook that we use to attract people, the second most important thing to test is whether it's more productive to drive people directly into your group and use that introductory post, that pinned post, to squeeze them at that point. Once they're inside the group, whether you should be squeezing them there, or whether you should be driving them to a squeeze page before they go into the group, so you're actually getting that email address beforehand. Only time will tell which is going to ultimately be more productive, and not just more productive, but give you better members. But I think ideally we're testing both of those.
Yeah, but if people have faux emails all the time, right?
Yes, they do.
But that Facebook page most likely is going to be who they are.
Right.
And it's also going to be a real email address because Facebook requires it.
Right.
Good points right there. Good points. And then there's the whole messenger thing too that we can work in. But I agree with you. I mean, you get a shit email, you're wasted your time.
Yeah. That Rick, are you using the bots at all?
No, not yet. I'm not right now concentrating on, like I was just telling Chris, getting that URL everywhere that I can have it on. Any of my pages, I'm gonna have that, and just drive content to it. My business page is going to be content posts. Like I said, I'm going to keep paying attention to the insights, figure out which of my posts are getting the most engagement, the most viewership, and those are the ones I'm going to boost to get out to, basically cold traffic.
Yeah. So I want to come back to the bot comment in a moment, but Wayne, I did not mean to interrupt your flow, dude. So let's go back to you, Betty.
I think that kind of answered my question. I think you mentioned the pinned post, and the pinned post, once they get in the group, then they see the information. Is that what you meant, Aaron?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we had you taken care of before, I was off on a rabbit trail.
Right. I've also used some of the bots. I use MiniChat, and it seems to be glitchy. Sometimes I set up an opt-in where they're supposed to opt in with a certain word on a comment post, and then they opt in, and then there's supposed to be a flow after that. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't trigger properly. And I don't know whether it's just glitchy or what, but I mean, I've got about 100 people that are in it, and it's easy every now and then to send a broadcast and maybe drip some information to them every now and then.
Yeah.
I will be using ManyChat and the messenger marketing here probably start in March, but I'll be very honest, I'm going to let, oh my God, I just went brain dead. Scott Rawcliffe set it up for me. And then I will learn by watching what he's done because he knows what he's doing. Getting back to what you were saying, Aaron, but personally right now, I don't know enough. I mean, the platform's set up for me, but I haven't been using it. I'm going to let him create those campaigns and everything. Then I can talk more about it probably by mid-March.
Yeah, I was on a call with Anna Dorier yesterday. And she loves the bot. She says she's almost done with email for now because of, and she's not completely, don't get me wrong, but she says open rates are 85% on the bot and, 6-7% or less on emails. And she has generated a lot of leads to the bot machine.
I think it has the potential to be really just something special, but let's make sure everybody, I know you know this, Aaron, but everybody understand that email is the killer app. It always has been, it always will be. Plus you own those email addresses. You don't own anything inside of Facebook.
That is I hope you should mark that because that right there is so dang true. And being your own media company is not the same thing as being on Facebook.
Yeah, I literally just told somebody that today, another Fit Pro, that we're wanting to do something. I'm like, you know what? The money's in the list. Build your list because you own that. You don't own all these other different tactics you're using.
Yeah.
All right. So, Chris, anything else that we can discuss or help you with, or do you want to dig deeper into regarding this stuff?
Well, I would love to keep this conversation going so we can. I believe in this, and I know that it's going to be great as we get it ironed out. So let's just keep that conversation going. I do have one more thing, and that is that I have an opportunity to bring a new trainer on board starting next week, who's from Florida, coming up. Husband's coming into town, military reassignment. So, and she had a full clientele down there that she had established for herself. And she even had some management experience as well in the training center that she was there with. So, so from talking to her on the phone and seeing a little bit about what she's got going online, she sounds like she's got a lot of experience. Long story short, it looks like it would be a great fit for us. I already have an appointment set to meet with her as of next Thursday. But I just wanted to get some thoughts on this. The fact of the matter is that I cannot bring her on board full time right now. Although the vision of where we're heading, I need at least two more full-time trainers. So I'd love to be able to grab her now if she is in fact what she looks like on paper. But and I talked to her on the phone about expectations, and she gets it. She understands that she's not going to just come up here and fall into a position where she has, full-time gig going on with a full book of clients like she was down there. She realizes she has to work into that, et cetera. So that's a good thing. But I just want to get some thoughts on that, like, some things maybe I could do to appeal to her, to make it, appealing for her to come on board with me, even if it is at a part-time, on a part-time basis, maybe give her some ownership over a few things and then have her sort of build into that over time, that being more attractive than maybe going down the street to a CrossFit, because she is a CrossFit certified coach, although she doesn't really like CrossFit, she's more in line with what we're doing here, more personalized training, and she has a lot of PT background as well, which, of course, we're partners with PT now. So it sounds like a great fit. She works with more of an aging clientele with aches, pains, injuries, etc. So it sounds like a great fit for me, but she could easily, because she needs the money, go down to any one of the 3 CrossFits that we have in town here and become a certified coach tomorrow. That's what I don't want to happen. So I want to really think about how I can present this to her next week.
Yeah. First thing I think you need to do is find out more about her. Because one thing you said there just really jumped out at me. She doesn't like CrossFit, but she's CrossFit certified. That tells me she could be the type that's just chasing money. Okay, think about that a second. And I'm just playing devil's advocate, Chris.
Sure.
Okay, I mean, that would be like me going to get CrossFit certified. The only reason I would do that is if I was desperate for money.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, she talked about that, and I agree. I mean, we definitely have a long hiring process, so I'm not going to jump the gun on anything. Yeah, she did talk about that she was sort of just furthering her knowledge and exploring that whole thing, but once she got into it, she didn't like it, etc. So,
is she inclined to ultimately restart her own business, or does she? I mean, she clearly has some entrepreneurial desires, and she built a business previously. Do you think, I think that's a point that you'd want to dig into and find out, because, it could be one thing that she could build and then steal, but it also could be that she could build with you as a really good partner, not a full-on partner, but a smaller partner. It's nice to have somebody else with entrepreneurial skills, as long as they're not going to walk on you.
Exactly. Yeah, I have to talk with her more about that.
About Chris, she said she had a full clientele or had her own thing. Is there any any evidence? Is anybody that you can talk to, almost like background kind of check to say is that even true? Because we actually had a coach come in here that had kind of, when we first started, had given us that same kind of spiel, that same rundown about how they've been doing it for so long. They worked for all these different companies and facilities, and they came in and they were god awful. I honestly was like, I don't even know if this, and I didn't do my background checking on them. Right. It was new. I was like, wow, this person sounds great. Good. I need a coach. Let's bring him in. And it was like one of the worst decisions I made, because I kind of wondered if that person had ever even trained anybody before. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, that's interesting. I have not checked.
Coming from a different state, it's really, I mean, she can literally tell you whatever she wants.
Yeah.
Fuck herself up. And then I think too, with her telling you kind of along what Rick was saying, that, she's also CrossFit certified. So she could be telling you, oh yeah, I don't like CrossFit, but at the same time, she could be on the phone with them saying like, yeah, I'm CrossFit. I love CrossFit.
Right.
And I mean, because you don't really know her yet. Those are just some concerns that come up in my mind. I would definitely want to do like reference checks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's a good point. There's so many folks who are just not above board, and will say whatever they need to say in order to get what they want. And that's scary. But assuming that she is good, one of the things I would sell her on, Chris, for sure, is your story. I'd make sure that she understands your story, what you've done, where you are, how business is, things like that. I mean, to the extent that you want to share those specific details, but the story in general, and make sure that she buys in. Certainly all the values and all that. I would take it a step beyond just the way that you would process an admin or even maybe another trainer, only because she has that entrepreneurial background. But again, you got to verify whether that's accurate or not.
Yeah, Chris, I'll jump in real quick and just leave it at that. But superstars aren't all they're cracked up to be. On paper doesn't mean everything that you need, want, or desire. Superstars have super ways of taking clients and walking out the door.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if they come in highly qualified and are very personable and can magnetize the audience. It's not long before they can walk away with, and listen, I've had it happen. Lots of us have probably had it happen. So maybe she's all that in a bag of chips and she's loyal, but that's the key. Will she be loyal to you?
Yeah. Yeah, really. Did she find you or did you find her?
She reached out to me.
Yeah.
How'd she find you?
She was just doing a local search in the area for personal training companies.
Aaron, how do you determine loyalty? Wayne says. Damn good question. I wish we knew that. There was a test.
Yeah, you get down to the bone marrow, you extract it, you send it off to 23andMe, you have them do their DNA test, you find out if you're related.
Yeah.
And maybe you've got a chance.
Yeah. And it's so tricky. It's so tricky because everybody's got a closet and stuff in it, and sometimes that stuff is scary.
I think the problem is that first they're going to be loyal to themselves. That's just natural. And then eventually, depending on performance and how the relationship builds, is where they're going to become loyal to you.
Yeah. You know, I'm just going to throw this out because this is how I think. If somebody passes, if they can tick all the boxes and you really believe this is somebody who seems to have it all going and you're taking them through, I wouldn't offer it right up front, but I'd plant the seed of equity, potential equity, the opportunity to earn equity if they're really good. Because I think it's just like Dan Kennedy says, marketing breeds loyalty. I believe in business, money, partnership, when you're employee related, money breeds loyalty. The better you treat your employees, the more they're compensated, generally speaking, the more loyal they're going to be.
And I also think with what Eric just said, throwing that out there about potential partnership or ownership or whatever, you're going to find out where their mindset is too. Are they really just looking for money? Or are they looking to grow a business? You're going to find out a lot more about them just by how they respond to that offer. So I 100% agree with what Eric just said.
Yeah, I do too. Back in the day when we had our fitness together, we created this, producer to leader program, and it was all designed around that very incentive. If you want to have a career in fitness, we have a plan. And you'll start over a 1-year period. You'll come in at this level, and every quarter you'll have new responsibilities. And at the end of a year, you've got 3 pathways. You can be a manager, you can be an owner and get your own investor or finance it your own, or we'll partner with you to open another location.
That is interesting.
Yeah, and you're just like in the corporate world, you're requiring them to become vested, or they have to become vested in order to benefit from this stock option or whatever that you're offering them. And the only way to become vested is time. And I think to answer Wayne's question about loyalty, the only way you're going to know is time. But even with time, sometimes you don't always know. But I think that's the only thing we can really rely on.
Hey, Aaron, do you have something kind of like a bullet point or on paper on how you presented that, or a little structure to follow? Because that's actually, I think that's a very good way to interview any employee. To find out where their mindset is. I think that would be a brilliant tool for any of us.
Well, when I was working with Adrian a lot, I told him on your next hiring spree, or, don't hire anybody that's not career minded. You don't want a part-timer, right? They may come on as part-time, but you don't want them part-time minded. They want a career in fitness. And then you paint it from hiring, interview from literally the ad. You start there, right? We're looking for career-minded personal trainers. And I could probably hunt down the sales page or the hiring page I did for Adrian and put that in there. But the bottom line is it's way back in the day, Rick, when we had this, it was like there was basically bullet points. Here's your first quarter's worth of duties. It was, and I've moved since, and I don't know where that is, but you could do it, sitting there, right? Just here's what I want you to do for the first quarter. Here's what I want you to do the second quarter plus the first quarter's duties. And you just build it, right? And then at the end, you'll be running the business.
Yeah, I just think that would be something that could help a lot of people in here with their hiring process. That's the reason I brought it up. And especially, here's your 3 paths at the end of the year. Here's the 3 paths you have. I mean, like I said, I think you are going to find out a lot about a person by, 1, how they respond to it, and 2, how they move forward within that structure. I just think that's awesome, Aaron.
Yeah, I'm going to ask Camellia, and Chris, you should ask her too, because I'm trying to remember, and maybe Chris, in Duplicator, did we have something like that where we talked about offering equity and get producer to leader type format? Do you recall? I can't remember.
I still use the Duplicator system, and I don't believe there's anything in there.
All right.
About that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll talk to Camellia, see if she's got anything updated on that. And you should ask her too, and maybe if Aaron can find some, or just jot down some bullet points, because I know you've mentioned it. This is probably the 3rd or 4th time you've mentioned it on a call, Aaron, and every time it sparks intense discussion. So it would be cool to be able to share, even just an outline.
There's no way to attach a document to this platform, is there?
There might be, but is it something that we need to see right away, or it would be better?
I was just going to, hand it off. I mean, it's
yeah.
If it uploaded on the internet, then you could just share the link in the chat.
If you have it on Drive or Google or Box, you can put a link right into there if that's what you're looking to do.
Then the easiest thing is going to be just to put it in the Facebook group.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, have a link that way. Interesting stuff though, Chris. When's she coming up?
Next Thursday.
Yeah, good. Whereabouts in Florida, do you know?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, see if you can find that out too, because I know, we got Alicia here knows everybody, all the fitness business owners, and her sister out in Tampa knows everybody out there. And I mean, there's a whole lot of more Florida, but if it's one of these 2 areas, we could at least maybe do a little due diligence for you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. And also, listen, I made a note here regarding our conversation earlier about the SmartStart group and creating the hooks as we discussed. What I'm going to do is put something in the group and just say, hey, and try and solicit some ideas. Wayne actually started something like this 3 months ago in the group, where he listed out some good. We ought to collectively come up with 5 to 10 really strong hooks that we can all use in the SmartStart group. Not just the hooks, but maybe some additional copy that will go with it. And then you can use these. We can all test them, see what works well, and the ones that work well, just keep running them, and then maybe come up with some more. But that would be a start. And that's the external side, bringing people in. Then we've got to deal with the internal side, the engagement and conversion process, improving that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
All right, man. Thank you. Mike, let's go to you real quick and see, or not real quick, take as much time as you need, but give us an update, let us know how you're doing, and anything that we can help you with.
We're doing good. I was talking with Aaron yesterday. Next Friday, we're funding a big day at that Meeting Street School for the special needs kids from the referral, from doing all the referral bonuses and charity events. So got some stuff squared away. It's going to be in some local papers as well. I'm going to get there and try and get some live video. It's going to be a couple hundred kids that are going to get services, fitness type stuff. Or it's a program that's run by the charity that we donate to. Does a lot of work with kids that have special needs. So, I mean, some of the kids are like wheelchair bound and everything. And then this school, Meeting Street, is a school that, provides services to kids who cannot be serviced at a regular public school because of their disabilities are so severe. So they're going to have some fun with that. So I spent all day yesterday actually, because I actually had Aaron take a look at my drafted press release, and I couldn't get the grammar low enough level.
Oh yeah.
I told my mom would be so proud. I was writing at a high school level, 11th grade level, and then I tried to dumb it down a little bit, and I ended up at a grade 14 level. I told her I was in a snapshot. I sent it to my mom. I mean, otherwise it's good. Local TV, I got a connection to local TV station too, news station that might be running something with it, which would be awesome as well. That's on that front. And then the only other info I have is, I'm still in the lease thing, everything with that. I kind of come up with a plan in terms of how I want to attack it. And I think based upon our call last week is I've been laying the seed already, doing a couple of posts in our private group on, the core values and integrity and making sure that your values are in line with your vision and your dreams and your goals and all that stuff that you have. And I'm thinking that as we get closer, once it gets announced, because I don't want to say anything yet because of that whole situation where the owner of the building is actually involved with. So I don't want to say anything to anybody yet and kind of piss him off in case we can get it to fall through. But I have a woman here who is a defense attorney, and she goes to one of the biggest prisons around here, has no problem walking in. She's also on the local PTO, parent-teacher organization for the locals in the school department here. So as it gets a little bit closer and the word starts to ruffle out there, I'm going to set up a meeting with her and see if I can get her on board in terms of going and kind of presenting. But then I'm going to do a video with all of our members and essentially tell them everything that was offered to me in terms of the free rent and the expansion, all of this stuff, but say that, but we're turning it down because it's not in line with our values. And our values are to change lives in a positive way. And, got into this not about money, but was to impact, kids' lives and adults' lives. And I wouldn't put my kids in that situation. I'm not going to put their kids in that situation, regardless of what that means for us. So I'm hoping that, that approach will get a lot of the local parents on board. And I think I'm going to share with them too, the whole story in terms of, listen, here's the deal. This deal goes through, we will still be here. However, if the deal falls through, we'll still be here. If it doesn't fall through, then we'll be packing our bags because we're not taking the offer that they presented us with, and trying to come up with a way to get. We got about 20 athletes that are actually from this town that are in school now in the town. So that means 40 parents who also have friends and stuff in town. So if I can get them on board without the owner of the building know that I kind of rally them up and get them to go, because I think what's going to happen is they're trying to slide this meeting under the radar so nobody shows up at it and they can easily pass it. So if I can get these parents on board to all show up and I can get this woman to speak when they're there about it and about the impact and all that stuff, we have a good chance of getting it voted down. The other thing too is, like, I was doing a lot of research, and last year it's already been brought to the town twice, and both times it's been rejected. It was rejected the last time, December 5th of 2017. So only like 2 months ago. And in order for it to pass, it needs to be a 2/3 majority vote. It was 60 people in favor of having it in town and 48 opposed to having it in town. So they're real close to having that 2/3. But I think if we can spark the parents from our side here to go, that's already double what was there, almost double what was there last time against it. So that's kind of my mindset. And then at the end of the day, regardless of what happens with it, when people talk about us, they'll talk about me as being the guy with the integrity. And I think it'll only spread the word. If we need to put out some stuff to, but I think we could really spark some really good lead traffic that way, and saying like, man, this guy he's the real deal in terms of he's honorable.
Right.
That's my hope. That's the plan I have.
That sounds beautiful. From start, I just applaud you, as Rick did, and I know we all do, that, for sticking to your guns, for sticking to your values, for keeping your integrity, because you're right. There might be some short-term pain as a result of this decision, you having integrity. Oftentimes there is, but there's always long-term gain from it. So, and I'm just saying what you already know, that things are going to work out just fine. And I think your plan of action is excellent. The one thing I would emphasize is that and you mentioned it, I just want to reinforce that you pay attention to, when you're telling this story on video, that you build up, not hyperbolically, but just accurately show everything that they're offering you and how much value that really could be to you in the short term. And then you're saying, no, thanks. We don't want that because our values are more important. because that really shows, the contrast is what's really important there.
I agree. I'm hoping to appeal with them, like emotionally, and get them to be like, wow, that's pretty awesome. I mean, to be honest with you, there's a lot of other things that I want to attack and tackle right now, but I'm kind of liking this challenge. I'm not going to lie. Granted, it'd be a lot easier to sign the deal and do the expansion. And I had a couple of meetings earlier today for some big stuff that we could definitely do, and probably double our revenue here if we could make it happen. But this will be a pretty good, and it's going to add to the story, right? At the end of the day, it'll add to my story. So I'm excited.
Mike Fernandez. Yeah.
No. It'll show everybody that it's not about money for you.
Yeah.
That's huge. Believe me, that is huge when people realize that.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you're in business to make money, but that's not going to be the singular thing that dictates how you do business.
Right. That's wonderful. And then you couple that with what you talked about before that was, the work with the charity and all that stuff, which is wonderful. And I hope if you get some news coverage or any photos or anything that you can share, please do share them in the group. I'd love to see that.
I'm planning on going there and trying to get some pictures with the kids and all that kind of stuff too. And maybe the principal, and we'll see what happens with maybe we'll get some interviews with the paper or the news will be even better. We'll see.
Yeah, that's fantastic, Mike. Cool. All right. Excellent. Let me jump to Wayne because we haven't talked to Wayne in a while. Wayne, give us an update on how things are going with you and any questions we can help you with.
Everything's going really good. January is a busy time for all of us. I started a 6-week challenge, like I guess is normal for a lot of people at the beginning of the year. We have 48 in it, 28 new people, and the rest are current members. And so we're about halfway through that, and I'm starting another 30-day challenge in the middle to try to maybe capture some of the ones who were interested in the 6 weeks but didn't do it. I'm hoping maybe a shorter term, less expensive program might get some of them. And I had one orientation last night, one more tomorrow morning. We'll see how that ends up. Something that's helped a lot is I contacted the local university, East Carolina, and they have a human performance lab, and they have people going through the graduate program that are interns there. So I contacted the lady that I know there to see if she had anybody there that may be a good fit for a part-time coach, and he started a couple of months ago, and he's taken a big load off of me in the morning because I was doing all the morning sessions, and he does maybe 2 or 3 or maybe 4 a week. And he's brought some new life and new exercises, new formats. I was kind of repeating some of the same stuff, and I knew that I was, and it was good to have somebody new in here to add some variety. And he's going to be graduating in May, so he said that he's going to be looking around, and he hopes that I can offer him something to stay full time. So I'm working on the job duties of what a facility manager would be, or a head coach. I think facility manager, to him it sounded better when I mentioned that. He said, "Yeah, facility manager. That's what he was looking for." So I guess like a lot of people, I'm trying to decide on the right package to offer. I think there should be some type of equity, maybe profit sharing to it. I don't know whether it should be completely based on monthly revenue or maybe a salary and then like a bonus on top of that based on monthly revenue. I know we've talked about that over and over again on different calls, but everything's good right now.
Well, that's great. I would suggest that you come up with that package that you're considering and post it in the group and just get some feedback from folks and see what they have to say about it. That's neat. And it's also neat. You said this guy's, he's just coming out. He's getting ready to graduate from East Carolina. So it's interesting that he's like looking for a facility manager. I mean, kudos to him. He wants to go as high as he can, as fast as he can. But that's cool. So, it might be a new, fresh hire that works out really well, and that would be awesome. So definitely post that package idea in the group.
Well, first he got his master's, and then he went to be a PE teacher for 2 years, and then now he's come back to get his his graduate degree, his master's, I guess. So yeah, back up. He was a PE teacher for 2 years. Then he came back to get his master's, and now, so I guess he feels like he's had 2 years in the real world. So now he's ready to be a facility manager.
Mhm.
But I mean, there's a place for that here. He could do it as long as he, exhibits the qualities that we want.
Oh yeah, I think that would be ideal for you to move you up to where you're being the rainmaker, where you're driving business. That would be great. What about the admin situation? I know your wife was doing some finance related stuff, but didn't you bring in an admin?
Yeah, we have a girl that does about 10 hours a week that helps my wife do more of the numbers side of things. My wife is more the financial person, and she doesn't want anyone touching or seeing the finances. So she's the one that insists on stressing and handling all that. And she's one of those kind of people that she's really good. She keeps track of every single penny, probably better than anybody, but she stresses over it. And it's a lot of stress on her, and I don't know what to do. I mean, she's super organized. She keeps track of every penny, but she lets things stress her out. And it's not, it's not good to see her that way.
Yeah. Well, one solution is make more money. That's always a good one.
Yeah, I'm working on that.
But other than that, I don't know. Wine.
Well, she said at the end of the day today she wants to go to a Mexican restaurant and get a margarita. So
yeah, there you go.
Maybe she'll get a margarita.
Yeah, that's what we had last night. That's always good. But I mean, it's nice that she's so meticulous about the dollars, about the money. The stress aspect I see is,
There's some good books you can read that will help with, I think, put things into perspective at the end of the day. I think for her, I mean, I think like one book, Resiliency, was I believe is a book I read that was really good in terms of, any of the things that are kind of stressing you out and wearing you down. Somebody else out there has gone through those things too, and they've essentially been able to deal with it and conquer it. So it kind of helps. I know that at different points when I was going through everything with my teaching and everything and getting stressed out, some of those types of books, Lewis Howes has a really good one too. Really good in terms of kind of putting things into perspective so you don't stress over things that maybe are stress causing you more anxiety or anything like that than what they should.
Yeah, and there's another one too. It's called Fox's Book of Martyrs. See, putting things in perspective. I'm just being silly. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I was writing that down, Aaron. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. But Mike, what was the first one you mentioned? Resiliency?
Resiliency.
Oh, Resiliency. Oh, yeah. That's the one Aaron, right? Yeah, that's great. That's definitely.
Well, resiliency or resilience, Mike?
Could be either one. I was a while ago I read it, but I know it helped me a lot.
I think it's Resilience. I think
Resilience.
Unless there may be two books out there. Resilience
I think it's by is it Eric
Gritton?
Yeah, that's the one. So whatever that title
that's Resilience, yeah.
Yeah, the Navy SEAL. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a good one, Wayne. It'd be good is to read that book together, or you both read and then you discuss. That's good.
I did write that down.
Why you discuss?
I did.
All right. Well, good, man. I'm glad things are going well, and it's good to see. I appreciate you showing up for the call. It's great having you on as usual. Let me jump over to Calvin. Calvin, let us know how things are going with you and anything that we can help you with.
Shoot. There's been a zoo, man, last few weeks. Sorry, I got on late and dealing with one of my coaches who I think we talked about before had twins and had to lose one. She had birth to the daughter and lost the son. Mm-hmm. And her husband just came in and brought the remains of the baby boy because the other 5 kids they have don't need to have the baby there. So they're going to have a service this Sunday. But anyways, it's kind of bittersweet. Obviously, one of the babies is fine, but other ones not. So that's a little crazy right now. So I had some home front stuff that's been slowing down this productivity of this week here. But just had a meeting earlier for creating a strategic alliance with a chiropractor that I work with. He's a little weird and different in how he works and a lot different from traditional. So we're looking at trying to kick some clients around together and move some stuff together on that. So I think that should do really well. Our 6-week challenge is going well. We've got a good bit of them actually upgraded for some supplements and things of that sort. So trying to get them to convert over would be amazing, of course. My admin is just still kicking butt. You know, I said we implement Mike's program, and that's just been stellar. We kind of incorporated with Trello as far as the home base in it, because we've already been using that system. So just putting into it, but that's still making it a home base. And we got on a call with Mike to kind of look over that, making sure how that works. So that's really, you know, to be able to learn how to delegate. That's one thing I was telling him, look, I haven't done that. First 7 years, it was just all me. So I'm learning how to delegate at the same time. And she's like, you know, coach, I got this, you don't take it. I was like, hey, pull my card. Let me know, what I need to do to work on it too. So, but that's been really, really been amazing. We have an intern that's working with us right now too, as well, for about 3 months. And she's doing really well on top of things. So just trying to get everything, really systematic. Obviously one of my goals is to be able to finally go online, but it's not until everything is straight like here and be able to do that stuff. Looking at second quarter, but right now, like I said, just trying to get everything systemized flowing here.
Yeah, I hear you. And I hear you about the delegation stuff too. I still to this day struggle mightily with that. It's just, it's tough. It's tough. For some people, it just doesn't come naturally, so it takes a lot of work. But using stuff like project management, like Trello, that's very helpful. Are you very familiar with that program? Yeah.
We've been using it now for probably about 6 months or so. So basically, all our workouts are in it. I have it set up. That's where we move the calendar over. So we set out all the workouts and stuff is in Trello. We do the communications, a lot from there. If we have to show a video or something, I'll do a Marco Polo or whatever it is, just to show exercises and whatnot. But we've got Trello down pretty good as far as keeping things organized. So there's one that my admin and I only communicate with on. Then there's some for the whole staff has, and our own personal board. So yeah, that's been helping us a whole lot.
Excellent. And the overlord of operations is doing well.
Yes, that's Michelle. She's doing well. Like I said, I just I had a conversation just saying, like, look, where we are now, you're part-time, I'm paying it just up to 20 hours a week, according to she can work at home, work from here, mostly from here because she has a young son at home, and it could be a little bit of distractions. But I see as we grow and this thing gets bigger, that I'll be able to bring her on full-time and be able to do more and things of that sort. But and that actually help with the online process too, be part of everything that we do as far as we grow this thing out. One thing that kind of evolved, I used to be really heavy on training a lot of athletes, and I had an athletes, my True Warrior class. Now it was heavy, and a lot of politics dealing with the high school coaches and whatnot. Just kind of it fizzled down. So I was just working with some of the younger kids. And afternoon, I kind of gave up 2 spots for my Taekwondo guy, but he's been kind of struggling. And some moms been wanting to work out with their kids. So I had like 2 moms with a few of their kids working out in this time. And so we discussed it last week, like, you really like this is a perfect time, because before I was running all the way home and then coming back and doing the 5:30 class. But if you have this 5:15, I'm here all the time with my kids, and we'll tell all our friends about it. So we're kind of making this afternoon, we're trying to think of like a fit family or something like that. Whereas, one price for one kid, 2, 3, 4, whatever it may be. But it might be, really big revenue income stream if we add that in at particular time. So it was just like young kids, and parents were saying they're going to the classes. It's a waste of time for me to go to different ones. Can we work together? And so we kind of chopped it up a little bit yesterday and talked to the parents and my coaches and said, we might be able to do this well. And we looked at we have a lot of homeschool kids out in this area, and we thought about doing a homeschool. Once again, anything that's added on, I'm like, this is y'all baby. I oversee it, get it set up, but coaches, you guys are going to be over this kind of stuff. And that's kind of how it's been rolling. But I think that'll be a pretty good add-on that we're working on right now.
Do you currently have a homeschool kid that you train?
Yes.
Yeah, that is a great niche. Those people stick together like glue. There's real what is it? Viscosity among them.
Yeah. See everything. They have a whole hill country homeschool group, like with a bunch of families. And, by us being in a rural area, there's just a lot more than homeschool in this area. And so we were looking at tapping into that market a little bit, even if it's just that time, or even add another time where it's like 2 days a week of setting it up. I haven't looked at a system like that, or if somebody's been doing anything like that, as far as kind of physical education, but not quite, still just training and, doing something like that. But we're going to kind of coin it for the almost an after school thing, fit family after school program. Instead of the kids sitting in front of all of the different screens, and have them doing some health, and you lead by the front. You lead from the front and they lead by example. That's kind of what we're thinking on it. But any ideas you guys have on that, I'm definitely wide open.
I would just say do it. Absolutely do it. And the way to do it, I think, is you ought to leverage your contact, leverage this kid and his parents, obviously, to get in front of as many of these people as you can, ideally in a group setting, because you sell one, you can get that group dynamic to sell, but also because you're so good in front of people and you have that natural enthusiasm that you ought to, get in front and tell them what you like to offer them, and maybe solicit feedback, see what they're looking for, and then try and come up with some sort of offer that you can make to these guys, because I think there's a lot of potential. I used to tell Angela Ramos to do this. She homeschooled her kids, still does, and I don't know if she ever got into pursuing that niche, but I think there's a lot of opportunity there because they are a very passionate niche. And if one of them believes in you, they will influence the others, and the others will, come on board.
Right. Okay.
Anybody have any experience with homeschool? Anybody else? No? You might want to reach out to Angela and ask her, see what she says, because I don't know if she pursued it or not. But anyway, the bottom line is it's a good opportunity, I think.
Let's do it. Right.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Rick, let me jump over to you, brother. Let us know how things are going and anything that we can help you with.
Well, I'm doing pretty good. I actually just got back today from being out in Vegas all week. I went out there and locked myself in a room so I could get work done. So I got a couple sales funnels done. Got all my testimonial videos from Eric Rokeach, which is kind of exciting.
Yeah.
I'm ready to really start rolling that out.
How many do you have?
9 of them.
Nice.
Yeah, and they came out really, really good. I'm excited about it. But working a little bit more, I spent time studying more on the whole Pinterest thing, so I can ultimately show people how that works and how valuable it's going to be. Was testing a new Facebook ad for the Pro Diets funnel, and it's doing okay. I think I've had 40 sales this week at $1 for an engagement, for the $1 trial. So, I figure, really I have $8 to market to acquire new clients at, when the second month it goes to the $9.95.
Right.
So it's been doing pretty well. I mean, I obviously going to tweak it a little bit more, kind of play with some ad sets. I'm working in 3 different cities right now, just to see how the bigger cities work, how they respond as opposed to smaller towns.
Oh, that's smart. So you're taking a localized approach to all your marketing for this.
Yes, what I did is I created an ad set for the Kansas City area, St. Louis area, and where I live.
I think that's a great idea, as opposed to just going after a demographic group. You're going after you're going after a geo-demographic group.
As well, correct. And just kind of see who responds to what, and then it'll help me tweak the ads, to make it, figure out what works best and where to put whatever version of the ad,
Right, but that's also intelligence that you can pass on to bit pros who become pro diet sellers. You can, you can say, hey, you're in St. Louis. Here's what the ads that have been resonant that I've been using in St. Louis that have worked well, and that has a lot of value.
Exactly. So I kind of working on things like that this week. Like I said, created a couple funnels for the Pinterest thing. One that goes directly to a lead magnet, and the other one that is going to go directly to the landing page. And just again to see, not only to see which one works better, but I think with Pinterest, it's going to make sense. And I've actually created 2 different types of targeted audiences, one with keywords and one with competitors. So one has like weight loss, nutrition, whatever. The other one's like Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, etc.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
That's been my week. I actually feel like I got something accomplished by getting out of town.
That's good. It is. There's a lot to be said for getting out of town. Vegas, although, can be a little distracting, but clearly it wasn't for you, and that's good.
I usually I give myself a certain amount of time that I'm going to stay in the room and work before I go wander around already. Now, I'm not a gambler, so that's not a big deal. Yeah. But, I would jump in the car and go to Red Rock Canyon or Lake Mead or Hoover Dam, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But this time I actually stayed more around the room, believe it or not, pretty much the whole week. Got a lot done. Tired and took the red eye home, landed in St. Louis at 5 in the morning, and then drove straight home and then got on this call.
Oh, you just got in today?
Yeah, my flight left at 12:55 Vegas time, which was 2:55 Central Time. I landed at 5 o'clock, got home by 8 o'clock, and laid down for a few hours and set my alarm to get up and be on this call.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right.
I'm really excited about these videos and what it's going to be doing for the NPS program. I mean, I'm really excited. I'm going to have to show you guys them.
Definitely would like to see them. That'd be great. So just real quick, I know you got me. Who else did you get?
You, Aaron, Pat Rigsby, Justin Ewell, Alicia, obviously, Fred Zeller, John Spencer Ellis, Jason Hunter, and AJ Mirzad.
Outstanding. Oh, that's great.
And the montage, I'll use the individual ones as well, but the montage one is going to be probably the one I use the most in my Facebook marketing. I can actually show it to you after this call if you and Aaron want to see it, because you guys were in it.
Yeah, I would like to see it. I think that'd be great, and I like the idea of doing the montage. That's strong. That works well. So Eric Rokeach did everything. I know he did the interviews. He also does all the editing. He gives you soup to nuts, A to Z. It's done, finished, right from him.
Yeah, I've got the montage. I've got each individual testimony or case study, so to speak. And then he does a shortened one too, like a 90-second one.
Yeah, because he offers this services to fitness business owners too, right? Anybody, yeah. And the stuff that I've seen him do for Pat and a few others has just been outstanding. He's an excellent interviewer. This is the second time he's interviewed me.
Yeah, he's very good. I've used him for the gym, and those videos have really helped on my landing pages and thank you pages. And this was just a different idea that I had, to reach out to industry influencers and get what they think about my program or even about me, because I think people will really pay attention when they see a video with all those people pop. I actually had a girl today, because I already put the montage on my website. I had a girl call me today because she watched the video and goes, "Oh my God, that video on your landing page, I know almost all those people. I follow all of them."
Almost, minus this one here, almost.
Aaron, you are better known than you think, brother.
Yeah, you are.
Hey, Aaron, Dathan Notke sent me a message with a picture of him and Forrest at some event. Do you know where they're at?
Well, that was last weekend or so, but they were at gym launch.
Oh, okay. All right. Who's behind gym launch?
Some guy, I can't remember. starts with an A. I can't come up with his name at the moment, but I don't know of him well, but he's making a splash, and so it was. I asked Dathan what he thought of it, and he thought, man, he says, that is the future of business. I asked Forrest what he thought of it, and he says, well, like most of these things, it's not scalable when you're growing. So it kind of depends on where, where you are, I guess, in the
I think this is the guy Alicia and I were talking about. This is the guy who does this. He has a special Facebook ad campaign that he uses, right?
Well, I would assume.
Yeah. If it's the same guy that I think it is, it's a little dicey. From what I've seen, it's not completely ethical, in my opinion. But anyway, maybe I'm wrong about it might be a different guy. If Forrest is there, though, I'd be surprised. He's got a pretty good nose for that stuff. He doesn't get involved in things that are shady. Anyway.
Yeah. That's what caught my attention is when he sent me the picture of him and Forrest together. I had no idea Forrest was going. Forrest and I rarely ever talk anymore, but I did send him an email afterward just saying, well, how was gym launch? And his response was, it was good enough, but as with, when you have 55 locations, it doesn't scale across all locations. And so, yeah.
Yeah, Wayne, I think if Wayne says gym launch like 16 grand and they promise a bunch of new clients, that's what I'm thinking of. And this is the guy who I think speaks is going to speak at Russell's ClickFunnels event because he's a big ClickFunnels guy.
Probably right then.
Yeah.
There's a few of the Fit Body franchises that have jumped on that.
From what I see, the dude is a sharp, very sharp marketer, outstanding marketer.
Are we talking about Alex Hermosi?
Yeah, I think that is it.
Okay, yeah. I agree with what Eric said. It is a little bit shady. He's got a lot of the fit bodies, and he basically stole Sam Bathiar's whole sales funnel. He used to work for Sam at one of his facilities. Just a little insight there. Sam may have told him it's okay, but I know where that whole process came from, and it's the whole 6 week challenge. Lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks, and it's free. But then it's kind of a bait and catch type thing.
Yeah,
I've talked to Justin Yule about it. Travis Merritt and I have talked about it. That they're both very familiar with it as well. Now, I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah. But if you guys haven't seen, Wayne, I assume you've seen him, but Mike and Chris, if you haven't seen this guy's ads yet, speaking of social proof, he does an amazing job with social proof. I mean, he just shows.
His marketing is very good.
What's that?
His marketing is very good.
Yeah, it's very good. He's a sharp marketer, there's no doubt. And maybe, I'm sure clearly for a lot of people it works. The more I looked into it, the more I thought this is a little shady. I just don't like that shit. But
the thing is, you've got a whole bunch of people paying them $16,000, and they're all using the exact same sales funnel. It's just like it was 5 or 6 years ago when everybody started running the same ads for their 6 week challenge. People start seeing it all the time, and they get, weary of it.
It's like icing the cake. It's got diminished. It's a law. It's a law of diminishing returns. It will happen. Yeah.
And he's not selling territories. I know of people that have literally had somebody right down the road selling the exact same funnel, making the same offer. Both of them paid him $16,000, and they're a block or two away.
Yeah.
It's going to catch up to you eventually.
Yeah. All right. Okay, guys. Great talking with you all. If you want to hang on and see Rick's video, do so by all means. If not, we'll see you on Facebook. And thanks for being on the call. Have a great weekend. Bye. Rick, I'm going to leave this recording if you're going to play. If you're going to play it right now, right?
Yeah, I can play it right now.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it recording so folks get a chance to see it, even though they can just bop over to your website and see it.
Okay, let me share my screen. There it is. So, okay, here we go.
He rules with a velvet hammer. I call him the apostle of common sense.
With Rick, it's what you see is what you get.
He's WYSIWYG. He's what you see is what you get.
He's not sugarcoating anything. He says it how it is.
Rick says out loud what everybody's thinking, and he says out loud to you exactly what you need to hear.
It's kind of like a parent, right? They love you on one side, but they're going to disappoint you on the other.
His honesty could be a bit polarizing. However, he shares his truth. And if I were to bet on someone, I would bet on Rick.
He plays jokes. He's a trickster. He jokes a lot.
Rick's character. Because you just never know what's going to come out of his mouth, whether it's something hilarious, something stern, something strict. Keeps you at your toes.
He's a good guy to follow on social media. You know, he's very comical post.
He'll post these crazy stories, and then at the very end, he'll be like, I just wanted to see if you were paying attention. It never happened.
So Rick may be the single most giving fitness professional I've ever seen.
He's abundant, he's caring, he's sincere.
Authentic, genuine, loyal.
He's a really, really nice guy and genuinely cares about people. This is his soul, man. I mean, from the bone marrow, this guy cares.
He is such a unique person, and he's so just genuine.
Always upbeat, you know, he's always positive.
He is hilarious, he's funny, he's interesting, but he's also got a lot of character.
He is a very passionate person, very driven, and actually very loyal and caring.
He does things his way, he does it with heart, but at the same time, he's impacting so many lives. He is still in the trenches in a lot of different ways, and he's business savvy as well. All of his programs are stuff that he is actually doing. He walks the walk, talks the talk, but also has so much evidence and to back up in terms of what he does.
He's not going to waste your time. He will get right in there, roll up his sleeves, work with you, and deliver proven results.
He tells you kind of where things stand currently. He tells you how he thinks that you can solve the problem you have or achieve the goal you're pursuing. And, you know, he gives you a pretty straightforward plan to get there.
He's very passionate about making sure that you're successful.
The guy brings the goods, not only in advice, but in product and in service and in counseling and in his professional time. He will help you. That's the reality. He will help you. And sometimes he's going to kick you in the face because you need it. You know, he's that kind of guy.
If you're coming there and committed to doing good work, you're going to have a really strong person on your team.
I have worked with the best of the best, and Rick is at the top of the best.
If you're looking for somebody to tell you how it really is, without sugarcoating, you're looking to get great results, Rick is definitely going to be your guy.
If you're ready to go for it and you want big results, Rick is the man.
Listen to me. You're not going to go wrong by getting Rick in your corner. In fact, I can guarantee you, you're getting right.
That's a good URL and a great video. I'm ready to get. I got my credit card out already.
You're the first ones to see it. I literally haven't shown it to anybody yet. There's a couple other parts that when I watch all the individual ones that he's going to add to this. I mean, like there was one part where Pat Rigsby said, Rick is the real deal. I definitely want that in there at the end because of how many people follow Pat. There's something else that Alicia said that I want in there. So it's still going to be about a minute or 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
It's good stuff, man. Congratulations on getting that done. You know, it's one thing to invest your life building those relationships and being that person who people will say those things about. That's the hardest part. But then there's also getting this stuff actually done, getting somebody to do the interviews and put it all together and use it to promote. Very, very smart work. It'll pay off for you in a big way. So congratulations.
Excited to see. I mean, now I'm, like I said, I'm going to let Scott Rawcliffe just run with it and say, I've already sent him the zip file with all of the videos. I'm like, here you go. Let's get this going. You know, and he'll put together the ad, because I just don't want to. I don't want to deal with the ad campaigns on it. You know, I just want to stay focused on certain things and basically pay for speed, which we all should really be doing in our business. And so I'm just going to let him take off with the ads. Like I said, he's going to run the Facebook ad campaign. He's going to run the Messenger campaign that we're going to create questions for this. They answer a question one way, it's going to, you know, send them to one place. They answer another way, it's going to ask them another question to really kind of dial in what people are looking for. And I'll be curious to see how it does. I mean, we'll take the individual ones like John Spencer Ellis. You know what? I'll take his study, and all I'm going to do is target people that are involved with Nesta, because they obviously all know John Spencer Ellis.
Yeah,
they paid him for one, if not 5 or 6 courses. So I'm going to target precision nutrition and all the different nutrition certifications.
Yeah.
You know, because,
there's a lot you can do, But what's the best thing about it is that you've got all these people saying great things about you that, you know, without being prodded or incentivized. It's just, and that's what's wonderful, man. I mean, and I know you know that. It's just great, because at the end of the day, that's what matters.
Well, you're not sending me a check?
Oh, I am.
Yeah, right.
I just got the thing the other day. I just got home. I haven't had a chance. I need your address, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
That is probably the most humbling 3.5 minutes of my life.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah, it's quite humbling to have somebody say that this guy will kick you in the face for your own good.
What was it that Fred called you in the very beginning? The apostle of what?
Common sense. Hold on.
Apostle of common sense, I think. Yeah.
I like.
Yeah, that one came out of left field. I didn't see that coming.
Rules with a velvet hammer. I call him the apostle of common sense.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love it.
That's good stuff. All right, guys, I got to roll. Thank you all very much. It was great talking with you, and have a great weekend.
All right. Thanks, guys.
See you.